Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have SC Moadi on the line, and she is managing partner over at Mighty Capital. And this is part of our iConnections Miami series, where we bring you the best of those that either participate or attended or send their teams out there and everybody that's part of that ecosystem. So, SC, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Adam. It's great to be here.
All right, excited to get into today's topic. So, why the power law no longer works and what's next. So, we're going to get into that and go into more. I know that you backed, like, for example, in your track record, did things like backing Grok before anyone had a thesis or for the inference infrastructure. And we know what happened there, one of NVIDIA's largest acquisitions ever. So, you got that and a lot of other things on your resume, of course. But before we get into all of that, take me back in time a bit. Like how'd you get into this business? Like where did you start?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born and raised in Paris, in France, and I became an electrical engineer. And right after that, I moved to Silicon Valley and I got my MBA at Stanford. I was a tech entrepreneur and a product builder for a decade. I
Hmm.
worked early at Facebook. I was late at Nokia. So I saw hyper growth and I saw also hyper fall and failure.
Mm.
And then for the past 10 years, I've been an investor. I started Mighty Capital 8 years ago. And to your point, we were very early in Grok. We closed three funds. The third one was covered by the Wall Street Journal a few weeks ago, and we celebrated six IPOs. The first one was Amplitude. We had DigitalOcean, Airbnb, and then the most recent one was Netcope.
Hmm. Amazing. What a great story. I'm curious when you decided to start Mighty Capital. Talk to me a little bit about that decision, like in your career and otherwise. And I'll tell you why I asked that question just briefly, because there's a lot of people out there that have a certain skill set and maybe they want to go out and do something and just entrepreneurial out and hang their own shingle, so to speak. And it's not always easy to leave what you knew to kind of transition into those new roles. So I'm curious, what gave you the confidence made you want to go that route?
Absolutely. And that's actually core to how we invest today in what we call product investing. So,
Mm.
like I mentioned, I was a product builder. So, I was building products myself, and I
Yeah.
was invited as a result of some of the work I had done to write a book on what makes a great product. And
Mm.
that book generated a massive movement of product builders that today engages one in three product builders in the world.
Wow.
And these people are the ones who find innovation and build innovation or use innovation before anybody else. And so
Wow.
they were sending me deals and interesting companies saying, "SC, you're an angel investor over in Silicon Valley. You should really invest in that company." And when I would invest, I would then go back to them and say, "I found this amazing product. You should use it. You should pilot it. You should buy it. You should even acquire the company." And
Mm.
what we do today at Mighty Capital is essentially that, but on a much larger scale, because our third fund is 100 million. And so I became a product investor because I had listening skills. I was listening to my peers at the time, all these product managers, and
Mm.
they saw things literally years before and way more
Wow.
accuracy than investors.
Wow.
That's what explains our track record.
That's amazing, dude. You gotta stay in those early days a little bit longer. What were you thinking when this was happening and kind of unfolding? Like, and specifically, especially with the book, when you were like, wow, did you expect it to take off like that or know that it was gonna have that kind of impact?
You know, it's interesting. Writing a book, I think, is very much a gamble. You're not going to make money on books. You know, the publishing industry, Adam, you're a media entrepreneur yourself. The book isn't the moneymaker. So when you write a book, you have to kind of be open to possibilities. And I explored a few things. I explored being a speaker, I explored building a consulting business. But really, what got me was investing. I became really
Mm.
good at it. And then once I saw the power of that product investing, initially, to be honest with you, when I realized one in five of our companies is an outlier, like is a 10x or more, as
Mm.
opposed to what's accepted in the venture capital industry, which is one in 20 or one in 30, I thought, oh, this is too good to be true, right? This is
Yeah.
beginner's luck. But now we're almost 10 years into this business and we've kept that track record. And so that's something that's really breakthrough and a different way to do things that works a lot better. And so the more you do it,
Yeah.
The stronger your results, and that kind of gives you the confidence to keep going and also give you the confidence to do it on a much larger scale.
Oh my gosh, I love that you said, "Oh, that's beginner's luck." I don't know if I've ever heard that attributed in this particular niche. That's amazing. Oh, that's great. So, SC, one of the things that you've even trademarked, and I know this is related to product investing in your overall ecosystem, is the concept of the product alpha effect. Talk to me about what that means and why it matters to you, and what why founders should look at that concept. Let's say that.
Yes, absolutely. So this is what's happening. As I mentioned earlier,
Mm,
product builders work for all the larger companies in the world
yeah.
from every industry, every geography, and their role in these companies is to bring innovation and make it scale. And so when you think about it, they are the ones who see true innovation that is scalable first. They are the ones who say, "Oh, you know what? I cannot solve that problem here on my product roadmap. How am I going to do this?" Or,
Mhm.
"Hey, I found this really cool new tool and I think it could sell, it could accelerate efficiencies here and there." So they are the ones who see innovations first, and their signals, what they do is the best, most reliable signal for innovation, which means that
Mm,
for an investor, if you get to be close to them, you're going to generate more alpha faster. And that's
mm,
exactly what the product alpha effect is. That if you're close to product people, you listen to those signals, you're going to find the best deals. And then you're going to turn to them and say, "I found a great deal. You should buy this product. You should sell it. You should use it." You're
mm,
going to accelerate the go to market for these companies, and then when they reach enough scale, you can go to the chief product officers in that ecosystem and say, "This is a business that has a lot of tailwind and can fix a problem on your product roadmap. You should buy the whole company." And that's
mm.
how you outperform. In fact, one of my investors says there's only three words you need to do: product equal revenue equal liquidity. And that's how you make money for your investors. And that's the product alpha effect.
How does this and thank you for breaking that down, and I'm curious, we mentioned Grok earlier a bit, maybe let's apply that a little bit as a case study, if you will, loosely, and maybe even what you just saw that maybe others didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. So 6 years ago, we came across some signals from these product builders, and they were saying we have a problem with inference that we're struggling to solve. And we said, okay, so that's a signal that's interesting. Let's dive deeper and see if we can find companies that are solving inference for AI at scale. And Grok was one of a couple dozen companies. And so we started looking deeper. At the time, they were raising around that was 60 times less than when Nvidia acquired them for $20 billion. So I wish Nvidia had been an investor in Mighty Capital at the time. It would have been much cheaper for them to get in access to Grok. So we invested 6 years ago based on these product signals that nobody else really was seeing. So the round, to be transparent, like it wasn't like a slam dunk like it was, up until the Nvidia acquisition. We found though that company early, and then we invited them to attend some of our events with product executives. We helped them close a few deals, get in touch with a few potential customers. And 6 years later, NVIDIA, who's one of the pioneers in AI,
Mm.
finally caught up to it and bought them for 20 billion. So that's an example of the product alpha effect where you see the company early, thanks to the activity of product managers around inference. Then you help that company be successful. And then that company eventually gets acquired and returns liquidity to investors.
It's a great story. Great story, and it's amazing to see what's happening from that, and it gives me, I mean, me and as just a whole total outlook on what's possible with that product side. And I mean, if you can comment also on like, and I'm using this word, you didn't use this word, but like I feel like there's an ecosystem there too between all of the people that are using the product, the founders, like all these things, because you're tapping into a lot of wins in that community. And even just the people that are, that are touching your book, right? Like that has a community, and maybe I use that word better. Has a community kind of formed around this as well? Like the book and everything? It seems like it would have.
100%. It's a vibrant community. There's
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of product builders, including chief product officers. And in fact, the community is incorporated as a non-for-profit. I've donated myself millions of dollars to get it off the ground and make sure that the mission of the nonprofit we can execute against. The mission is that everyone can build great products. And so if you go to productsaccount.org, you'll
Mhm.
see all the content that helps literally anybody build great product. And your
Wow.
word, your ecosystem word, is a great one because these product builders, they are so passionate. All of
Mm.
them want to help one another, want to contribute best practices, expertise, mentor, teach, learn, because it also
Mhm.
helps their career. And why it does that is because there is no degree in, product management, or there's a couple of them, but you essentially have to learn it from your peers. And so
Mhm.
it's a very passionate community of innovators.
Wow, it's great. Final question, SC, and I'll timestamp this for us. It's May 21st, 2026. What excites you right now? And it can be from product technology, it can be from business, whatever. Like, what excites you right now? What gets you motivated to get out there and to continue doing what you do as managing partner at Mighty Capital?
I get to work with incredible entrepreneurs. I get to work with investors who are visionaries and who want to see product investing become a mainstream category. I'm at the forefront of anything that's innovative, that makes the world a better place. I have a really meaningful way to give back through products that count. And so I'm a happy person. That's
I
what keeps
love
me
it.
up and gets me up.
Absolutely amazing. And if somebody wants to follow up, follow your journey, connect, grab the book, any of that stuff, how do people do that?
So I'm very easy to find on LinkedIn. And if you follow me, you'll start to see my daily little videos with insights on the market, innovation, technology, SC Moadi. And then you can also email me, sc@mighty.capital.
Fantastic. For everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so you can connect with SC. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. You heard me right. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or follow button. And SC, really appreciate you coming on. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.